Good afternoon. This is Michael O'Neill. I'm from the Informed Medical Options Party. I'm coming to you from Kempsey this beautiful Friday afternoon. I've got a number of things on my mind, and I'm very concerned today when I have learnt the news that Sirine Tefenaar has been now struck off by the regulatory body that oversees lawyers in Australia. Sirine has mounted a campaign, a class action in favour of people who were injured, damaged and suffered distress and many other things due to government policy in the lockdowns. And she has relentlessly pursued the interests of these people that have been hurt by the government policy, and now she's been struck off. If we ever had any doubt that we live in a society that's fast deteriorating into a totalitarian state where there is only one opinion and that freedom has very little value, then this should alarm us. This should tell us that we are in real straits. You know, at the Informed Medical Options, we don't want too much. You know, we just want the truth. That's all. Is that too much to ask? We just want our life. We just want a life where we can live and decide what we put into our body, how we function in society, where we go, where we live. Is that too much to ask, really? We just want the truth. We want freedom. When has that been a hard ask in Australia? This is the country. We're going to be approaching Anzac Day soon, where our young men, my relatives, and no doubt your relatives, some very close to us went and gave their lives that we might have freedom. And right before our eyes, we see this freedom just dissipating. It's alarming and it's scary, and we see a level of absurdity now in our media. I've taken the step to actually look at some of the mainstream media of late just to see what are they talking about, and I'm utterly depressed. It's so sensationalised. It's as if they are just the mouthpiece for vaccine companies. I call them, and I heard this, I didn't come up with this, but they are like the vaccine cult. It's like a new religion. And to speak against this cult is, you're on the outer. It's really, we're in some difficult days. But the Informed Medical Options Party, we want to fight for freedom, the freedoms to make these choices that were just a given up even over 10 years ago. We have really deteriorated. The other thing we'd like to know, and what's all the fuss about, and why can't the government be truthful, does the vaccine actually work? Does the COVID vaccine work? I mean, is that a hard question to ask? Does it work? Is it safe? Well, I have serious doubts about its safety. We are getting people calling us at the party. I'm running into people all the time. They're calling by phone, they're emailing us and saying, we don't want it because we're seeing our fellow workmates get sick. We know health workers, many of them are in a state of distress. We got reports of paramedics who are off work sick after taking the vaccine. They weren't sick. We hardly know a person that has COVID. And even if they are tested positive, they're not dying, they're just unwell. But we're now having this medical intervention that's going to save the world and save Australia and allow us to fly and have all these freedoms back again, and it's making people sick. It's not safe. It's not safe. It's not verifiably safe. And we absolutely have no knowledge whatsoever. There's no guarantee that it even works. So why would we do it? I certainly won't be. The media sensationalise everything. I'm just appalled at the sensational nature. Now, I'm actually here in Kempsey. Now, you might realise that just a while ago there was a flood here, and if you just have a look around here, you'll see flood damage along the side of the creek. And, of course, the media tells us that it was a 1 in 100 year flood. Well, I've actually been living in this area for decades, and in 2001 there was a flood that far exceeded this one, far exceeded it. And I often talk to local people and they'll say, oh, this is a terrible flood, you know, the 1 in 100 year flood. I said, but what about 2001? Oh yes, that's right, that was a big one. And what about 1949? And we've been having floods for years. But the media has so, even people that are eyewitnesses that the very thing that they're saying about their 100-year flood is not true, are believing it because that's what's come off the media, even though they know in their heart. And when they're reminded, they'll say, oh, that's true, yes, that was a big one, yes, I remember that one. I'm not saying that this wasn't a flood where a lot of people suffered damage, and we personally suffered damage on our property as well. But I'm saying My point is the media sensationalise everything. It's all about the sensational story. It's nothing to do with the truth. It's about the sensational story. They don't care about your life, your property, your well-being. They don't care about the good of Australia. It's all about the next sensational story. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. And we've got to stop looking at it, and we've got to stop believing it. We've got to start researching the things that they say. They're not true. And our politicians are not brave. They're not standing up and saying, hang on, this doesn't bear out. We've got to look at the facts here. They're cowards. They're just terrified about losing their job or being on the outer. We're in a sad state in our country. We are now seeing the push. There is no relenting, even though we're seeing that the AstraZeneca vaccine has got big problems and we've had a little bit of a stay. I'm sure they'll start it up again. And as soon as there is problems, what do? They come straight out and say, we're still confident, but look, just under 50s don't take it. Irresponsible. That's just scandalous that they would be like that. And we've had Greg Hunt still promoting it. I can't believe he promotes that after being sick, straight after having his vaccine and lying up in hospital. Did you ever think about that while he was lying in hospital? I just wonder at the man. I think, is his aspirations for power so great that they exceed his own personal well-being, and he's prepared to send Australians off to the slaughter to have something that made him very sick? I'd like to see Mr. Hunt. Are you willing to have your second vaccine publicly and scrutinised by independent sources? Have the second one while we all can look. Okay? Do that. Are you really so confident in it? He's dealing with Australian lives. We're dealing with freedom. We're dealing with truth here. And at the Informed Medical Options, we feel that truth is in the dust. Freedom is fast disappearing and already has disappeared. We feel that the political class have betrayed us, that whether they're Labor, Liberals and the Greens. I don't think that anybody should ever vote for the Greens again. They are not the Green Party. They've stole the name Green. They're no more green. They're the dark party. And we've got to wake up to this. We've got to be wise. There are many people out there that are coming to us at the Informed Medical Options Party that are willing to stand to represent the interests of Australia and stand for truth. They're willing to give all. Our thoughts today go out to Serene and her team, that she's been neutralised, so they think, but I don't think so. I think she's a brave girl. I think she'll be still in the fight, and I hope so. And we wish her all the best. It's now Friday afternoon, and many of you will be going into the weekend. Consider these things. We've got to stand up against the error that's just being spewed out on us. We deserve better than this. Our forefathers fought for our freedom. We've been a country that's been a beacon of light to many people, and we're seeing it disappear. It's going worldwide. But listen, this is our country. We must stand up for it, and we're fighting for you. We don't agree with what's happening. We're on your side. So today, I'll sign out here on Friday afternoon. I hope you have a great weekend. For those that are, as the sun sets, many of you will keep the Sabbath and others will go enjoy their time with their family. We wish you all the best. We're fighting for you. We're on your side. And we just want the truth to come to the fore, not to be buried in the dust. It's time. It's time for change right now. Thank you.